Welcome to another 2-Minute Tech Tip Tuesday. Brought to you by the National RV Training Academy, the largest hands-on RV training academy in America.
I specialize in helping women RVers all around the country, and as you can imagine, we get lots of questions here from the ladies. And I'm not just talking solo RVers, it could be couples camping. We get single, married, widowed, divorced, everything in between. So ladies, if you've got questions, we've got answers, so bring them on. Here's just a few really smart questions that I've gotten. So this one says, my RV is 30 amp, and I'm going to a first come, first served campground that only has a couple of sites with 30 amp and a lot with 50 amp. I'm afraid I won't get there early enough to snag a 30 amp site. If I get one of these, and she's talking about a dog bone adapter, and plug it in the outlet and my 30 amp EMS surge protector, and then my RV cord into that, I'll be good to go, right? And I can run my air conditioner, microwave, etc. So if you remember from our dog bone adapter Tech Tip Tuesday that we did a couple of months ago, we went over this, and I want to make sure that I understand what she's asking. First of all, she's a 30 amp rig, and if she is using one of those adapters to plug into a 50 amp receptacle, even though 50 amp rigs are used to being able to have a potential 12,000 watts to use in their RV, her RV power cord is still only rated for 30 amp, which is equivalent to potential 3,600 watts. So yes, she can operate all the things that she's used to operating when she's plugged into a regular 30 amp receptacle. She might not be able to do all those things at the same time, like the air conditioner, the microwave, etc. So she'll just be using what she typically uses. And yes, you can use that dog bone adapter and then your EMS surge protector and then your power cord, and you'll be good to go. All right, the next question is, should I drain my hot water tanks or water heater in between camping trips, let's say 2 to 3 weeks in between trips? This is a really good question. People are really confused about this, and I'd say it's a matter of preference. Think about this. Your water heater, the tank style water heater, you'll have like either a 6-gallon, 8-gallon, 10-gallon. That water is getting replaced, so to speak, every time you're using the water heater. So if you use that hot water frequently throughout your trip, the old water's going out, new water's coming in. So maybe it's sitting for 2 to 3 weeks, probably not a big deal. Some people think that that is old, stale water, and they want to cook and shower and do all the things with fresh water next time they get into the rig. So they'll go ahead and drain the water tank, the water heater tank, in between trips. There's nothing wrong with it. You're not helping or hurting anything. Some people just think it's a pain in the you-know-what to do that between all of their trips. And they'll, if you're a weekend warrior like me, they'll keep their drain plug in there. They might be checking it now and again if they've got an anode rod, but they'll just keep it going and they don't drain it until the end of the season when they need to winterize or put it into storage. This one is related to the water heater as well. My old RV's water heater tank had a plastic drain plug and did not have an anode rod type of drain plug. She just took it out of there and she said it looks like this. And so she sent me a picture, and it was a slightly used anode rod. And she said, what do I do with it? Do I scrub it? Which is such a woman thing to ask. As far as we want to reuse and repurpose and make it last longer, replace it or leave it because it's fine. So the rule of thumb is, if you've got that tank style Suburban, that steel tank style water heater, it'll use an anode rod as the drain plug, and that is a sacrificial rod that's taking the hit for the impurities and minerals and things that are in the water wherever you're camping. And so the rule of thumb is, when you see it about 50% deteriorated, it's doing its job. So some people think that that means it's faulty. It's not. It's doing its job, but you're going to have to take it out and look at it. You'll have to drain the tank and look at it periodically. So a lot of people say, once you drain it and you look at it, just go ahead and replace it. Keep another replacement on hand. But what hers looked like, it was barely used. So I told her she could go ahead and put it back in and then check it again. And really, there's no good rule of thumb here. Maybe every 30 days. It's truly going to depend on the quality of the water in the place where you're camping. Here's our next question. My RV's freshwater tank fill is the same connection as the city water intake. You just turn a lever to direct where the water goes. Now, what she was talking about is she used to have a gravity fill opening. So the gravity fill is different from the threaded cap, and now she has a threaded intake. So the gravity fill is a bigger opening. You stick the hose down there, you fill it, and you'll know it's full once water comes gushing back out. On this threaded cap, the reason she's asking me this, she said, I want to sanitize the freshwater holding tank using a bleach water mixture. How do I get the bleach water into the tank? When she had the gravity fill, she was using a funnel, and all she did was pour the appropriate amount of bleach in there into the holding tank, and then she just stuck the hose down in there and topped it off, filled the whole holding tank, let it sit overnight so it would sanitize the system. She drew that bleach water into the whole plumbing system, and that would, at every single faucet, shower, outdoor shower, all the places where water goes. And the reason she wants to sanitize it, some people will do this mid-season just because they think that things need freshening up. Some people will do this after winter when they de-winterize the system. They want to go ahead and sanitize. So she was saying, how do I get that bleach into the system, that bleach water mixture into that holding tank when she's got that threaded cap and she can't put the funnel in there? And it's super simple. You put your hose, your potable water hose, on the connection just like you always do, and then you're going to pour the bleach mixture with a funnel into the hose. So that way you're sanitizing your hose at the same time. Pour the bleach down in there and then just go ahead and connect it to a spigot just like you would when you're at city water connection. Turn on the water, fill your tank, draw it through all the faucets throughout the coach and let it sit overnight. Okay, one more question from the ladies. This is a propane question. I have 2 tanks on the front of my trailer. One reads low, the other is full. She has Mopica sensors, they're magnets, and they stick to the bottom of the propane, those DOT cylinders. So she knows one is low and the other is full. She said, will the propane system draw from both tanks automatically, or do I need to switch the lever between tank 1 and tank 2? So what she's talking about is she has an auto changeover system. The regulator is auto changeover. So here's the deal. If you want that to work, you're going to need to make sure that both service valves on both DOT cylinders are open. So that way, once the system senses that one tank is empty, it's based on pressure. When it senses that one tank is empty, it is going to automatically start drawing from the other tank. Now the little switch, the lever she's talking about on the regulator, that does not switch over. That is for you. That is for you to know when it is red, it's pointing to the tank that is empty. And then you will manually change that lever to point to the tank that is drawing from now. And usually it's green, maybe it's another color on your regulator to show you which one it's drawing from. So the key is, yes, it would automatically draw from both tanks when one is empty, as long as both service valves are open. Now, some people don't like to do that because they won't find out that their propane tanks are empty until both of them are empty, because they keep forgetting to look under the shroud cover at that auto changeover regulator, and they were none the wiser when it started drawing from the other tank. So they'll simply only leave one service valve open and the other one closed. Those were great questions, ladies. I hope those answers were helpful. Keep them coming, and there's your tech tip.
All right, before you get to the bloopers, which is why you're here in the first place, the RV industry needs thousands of RV technicians and inspectors, and now is the perfect time to do that. If you want to make more money or have more control over your time, go ahead and click the link below. Or if you just want to learn how to fix your own RV, got something for you there. Head over to rvtechcourse.com and get started today.
Now for the reason that you're at the end of the video, roll the bloopers.
Okay. All right, so I hope those were helpful. Can't even say helpful. I was doing so great. I hope those answers were, I can't say were helpful. Keep them coming, and and we'll see you on another tech tip. I want to say there's your tech tip.